Like, but in this game, I do want to ask you, Joshua. Ravens go for it, fourth down, first drive of the second half. They don't get it. Now, Lamar Jackson missed the pass. A lot of people get mad at me every time I'm like, they shouldn't have gone for it. And they're like, well, Lamar missed the pass. I'm like, yeah. Sometimes you go for it on fourth. Ravens last year against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they go for it, 2-point conversion. Let's get the win. They didn't. Someone didn't block TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Whoever the right tackle was in that game didn't block TJ Watt. Guys are going to miss plays. Yeah, Lamar Jackson messed up in that play, but he hadn't been hitting the deep ball, and them going for it still resulted in a bad thing. It was a great play call, but it still didn't work out. And sometimes that's on the quarterback. Sometimes it's on the offensive line. Sometimes a wide receiver drops the ball. We've seen Hollywood do it every once in a while. Mm-hmm. He's no longer here, but everyone has to execute on a fourth down conversion. It's that much more important. If we ran that play and it was 2nd and 4, no one would talk about it. Ah, man, it's just a missed throw. It's not that big of a deal. But because it was on fourth down, it's like horrible. Lamar Jackson ruined that play. It's like, yeah. But the Ravens were forced to put them in a situation where they had to make that throw. What are your thoughts on it? Are you okay with that, going for it? I know it in the box score, in the transcript of the game, it doesn't look as bad because Patrick Queen got that pick right away. But in my personal opinion, it doesn't matter what happens after the play. All that matters is, with the knowledge they had at hand, was that a good decision?
And you know what the funny thing is? I heard that the analytic guys are like damn near in the same type of box that like Greg Roman be in. So like you never can have them come down to speak to him or have them come down for interviews or anything of that nature. But I'll say this, when we go for it on fourth, it's really, for me, it depends on position of the ball. Now if we're in our opponents, towards that red zone, things of that nature, and we go for it on fourth, we miss. Okay, I can live with it. That means, my opponent has to work out of their 10-yard line or 5-yard line, and that gives my defense a better chance, to go back there and get a safety, things of that nature. So, you know what? I think everybody's becoming more critical, because of Lamar Jackson, because he's betting on himself. He wants that, guaranteed contract, which honestly, I'll say it right now. Because of how they use Lamar Jackson, I don't blame him for wanting to have a guaranteed contract. It is what it is. That's just my opinion. So, you got the analysts, you got the coaches, you got the GM, and then you got the fans and everybody that think they can play quarterback, analyzing the hell out of Lamar Jackson. And if he doesn't get this fourth down, you can kiss that check goodbye. You can kiss this zero goodbye. Stuff like that. So it really depends. That one, I didn't mind it as much. It was still early in the game. It wasn't like it was late. We still, we were still in a good spot where the defense could come and recover, get us the ball back, which, PQ end up, shout out to him, first interception of the season. Hopefully we get some more out of him. So, I mean, it really depends on, situationals. It's like even in fourth quarter, it was like 11 minutes where we decided to kick, and people, were like, hey, yo, it's 4th and inches. Let's go for it. Like, what we doing? John Harbaugh been getting that flack. They've been coming down on him. They went here and put Justin Tucker out. Either way, we went here, got the points, and then we didn't leave no points off the board. So, I mean, sometimes you really have to pick your poison. You really have to pick your poison, and you can't use all these mathematicians, all these statistics and stuff like that. You just gotta go there with your gut instinct and play football. So if you're playing against a Buccaneers, LA Rams, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, hell, even the Dallas Cowboys or now Philadelphia, get all the points. Go ahead and get all the points.
And in this game, in the Ravens season, it's so much about John Harbaugh, and a lot of people defend him and they go, well, he's trusting his quarterback. Part of a head coach's job is to tell the quarterback no. Mm-hmm. Because you can tell any good player in any sport, is going to say, you can say it's basketball, you can say it's baseball, you can say anything, right?
Yep.
You know, it's MLB playoffs right now. The manager of that team is sitting in there. People that don't know, manager's the coach. He's like, I need a pinch hitter. Every single person in that bench is going to say, put me in, coach. I will get this hit. Steve Kerr is drawing up a play for the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. Every single player wants that ball going to them, right? And Steve Kerr has to say, no. I'm sorry, Klay Thompson, the best three-point catch-and-shoot shooter in NBA history. This one's not going to you. I know you want it. It's going to Steph. Or I'm sorry, Steph. I know you're the best ever, but this one's going to Klay. Phil Jackson put the ball in Steve Kerr's hand instead of Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Harbaugh, you got to look at this and say, okay, everyone on this offense wants to stay out there. Why? Because you believe in yourself. You want the ball in your hands. It's very difficult to put the ball in someone else's hands when you're at that level, when you're as good as they are, as good as Mark Andrews, as good as Lamar. You're like, no. You have the full confidence that you're going to succeed. But sometimes the coach has to say, you know what? I've been watching this game. The offense has been struggling. We haven't been able to put up very many points. If this was a game where they were marching down the field, they were running the ball for 5 yards a carry, you know, at that point, they are just easily going up and down. That's why it worked in 2019, the going for it. Because they would go for it, and it's like, oh, yeah, they've scored on 3 straight possessions. They haven't, you know, punted once in this game. They just are marching up and down the field. Going for it works then because the offense is working. The players are working. They are, you know, they just know exactly what they're supposed to do. The execution is on point. In that game, the execution wasn't amazing. They were missing some throws, or Lamar was missing some throws. The big factor is they don't have their number one wide receiver, who's the guy who's supposed to be able to get open. You know, their running backs are nursing back from injury. Their left tackle's on a pitch count. They're switching guys in and out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a situation where I look at it and I say, you know what? The offense isn't rolling right now. Let's punt it. If the offense is rolling, that's when the conversions work. When the offense is struggling, they are stuttering. They cannot seem to get down and score full touchdowns. Don't break out of it by going for it on 4th down. That's not going to work. If you're struggling shooting the ball, don't take a difficult step back 3.
Exactly.
What do? You get to the free throw line to fix your game. Get the layups. What are the layups? A fresh set of downs. Punt the ball back to the other team, get it back, and say, hey, here we go. New drive. Let's do this. You can take a heat check when you've made 3 threes in a row, right? You've made those scores. You've driven down the field, right? Mm-hmm. You watch LeBron James. He starts playing well. He's pulling up from half court. Steph Curry, half court. Why? Because it's working. Steph Curry doesn't start a game and go sidestep from the half court line, you know, from the logo. He's not doing that. Right. Steph Curry's taking 2s. He's taking layups. He's getting to the free throw line. Maybe he gets an open 3. As the game progresses, he's doing well. The better he's doing, the more annoying he is to play against, because then he starts taking the more and more difficult shots, and he's making them. Ravens offense. This is my call to the John Harbaugh. If the offense is working, if they're going down there and they're, you know, if they're at 38 points, you know, 45 points, and you're going out there and you're like, you know what, we can go for it on 4th down. You know, we've put up a ton of points. The offense has not been stopped. And we're running the ball for crazy, and it's 4th and 1 at the 50. You know what? We're rolling. We can do this. The execution has worked. We keep getting these successful plays.
Right.
That wasn't the situation when they went for it. It was the first drive out of the half. They hadn't really, you know, the first half they scored 10 points in the first half. That's not a big game from the Baltimore Ravens offense. That's not a go for it on 4th down.
Yeah. That's
not a layup. Again, if they had, you know, Tom Brady and it's 4th and inches, yeah, go for it. Why? Because Tom Brady is a 99% chance, like, career success rate on the QB sneak. Like that, then it's okay. Then it's okay. That's a layup for him because it's perfectly, like it's almost every single time. They had to call play to get, 1 or 2 yards. That wasn't a layup at that point in the game. The more shots you make in basketball, the bigger that hoop looks. But they shot that with a regular-sized hoop. Get some touchdowns, and all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson's looking at that basketball hoop, and he's saying, this thing's 10 feet wide. This is easy. We'll pick that up. That's why on the game-winning drive the Ravens had, the offense was moving. I would have had full confidence in a 4th down conversion. I had full confidence in their final 3rd down conversion. Why? Because the offense was rolling. It was moving. But that wasn't happening in the first half. They hadn't scored. But what do you think, Joshua?
I mean, you hit it spot on, man. I mean, you can't do so much when you're not going. And we had to think about it too. It's an AFC North division rivalry game. It's a lot. It's a lot that's going in more now to Cincinnati Bengals because they're now they're a potential playoff Super Bowl team now. So now it's the arguments, the cases is making it more interesting. You have arguably in Cincinnati Bengals the best wide receiving core. You have a young quarterback, a young older quarterback that's came in the league and he's taking the league by storm. And we're being completely honest. I mean, yeah, he had the injury at the end of his rookie season, but he came back strong, came back healthier, and he was Joe Burrow from LSU. Now he took the team, he led the team to the Super Bowl. He lost, unfortunately. Now they're coming back on their revenge tour. Now you got the guys over here in Baltimore in purple and black. You got Lamar Jackson that was hurt. He missed the rest of the season. Now he's back on his revenge tour. Now his contract year for him. The whole narrative is big contract, sign the man, pay the man, and unanimous MVP like 2019 all over again. So it's definitely a lot of talk. When you hear the Cincinnati Bengals and the Ravens, we definitely will beat them again. And I'm expecting the same outcome with us with a W, but us officially executing our plays to the best of our ability. And you know what? Even though Greg Roman was coaching for the Cincinnati Bengals, I give it up to Greg Roman that he was coaching for us too, because he did use Devin Duvernay, in the best ways he could possible. That was a great bright spot, and also he has become a spark plug. Yeah. I don't know if Madden has the badge or NBA 2K has the badge anymore, but spark plug would be him. If he comes in on special teams, kick return or punt return, and he makes something happen, it definitely gives that jolt of energy. If see him in the backfield and moving the ball up the field for 10, 12 yards, I bet said we should have had him as another running back. I'm sorry. And there's nothing against him as a wide receiver, but having him in the backfield, you had the element of surprise because linebackers will not know how to stop that. They will not know how to defend that. And he can work in the middle. He's strong enough. He can take a defender with him and still get you the downs. The only thing is he doesn't have the breakaway speed as our old former speedy wide receiver in Hollywood without the ball. But with the ball, Devin Duvernay, he's a man on a mission that can't be touched.
I love what we're seeing out of Devin Duvernay, and I love the praise for Greg Roman because he is using him now. Dare I say, you know what? I'm not going to say it. Not going to bring up the V word. All right, we're going to leave it at that. Greg Roman's doing a good job. Keep it up.